So I did a little bit of a goof. I forgot to record this like first hour of gameplay, which basically is gonna, spoilers, be a catacomb that we find. Right now I'm showing off Milady with wing stance because I didn't show it with the R'hllana fight. I did try using Milady and also the backhand blades, I think is what they're called. And they seemed like good weapons, it's just I didn't really use them. I didn't feel them for the fight, so I wanted to kind of try them out now. Also, you can see I'm dressed the part because Milady makes me seem fancier. And yeah, the backhanded blades. I thought these were like normal looking daggers, but it turns out they're kind of more scimitar-like. So they're kind of cool looking. They have a cool little effect where you can have iframes and do a little backstab motion for big damage, which is that right there, which seems pretty useful and cool. Obviously, I explained this a little bit better when I wanted to show this stuff off. I didn't really show off much of Milady. I was here because I was practicing fighting that guy just to try out the moveset, and I ended up finding this location. Not off the cuff, it's just I knew about this and was like, hey, I'll show this off when I record again. I just forgot to record again. Very cool. I also remembered that I never found a way to unlock that place in the well that was here. So I might come back to explore over this way later. I haven't yet. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I missed since I did miss the item that's over here. Clearly jumping down from the top rope was not the intended solution because there was a clearer path where those guys were. And as you can see, the item was nothing. But hey, we found it. And we also found a cool message. Look at that guy. I think it actually took me a minute to figure out what they were talking about. I'm not very fast with the dirty jokes. But yeah, this is when I'm like, oh yeah, that well. Well, what do I do with that? And then I don't know why but I'm like walking backwards. Because I kind of like had a pre-plan when I was intending to start this recording, and part of that pre-plan was, hey, while looking at the map, I noticed that there's this whole like zone over here that I don't think I went down. So that's what we're going to be doing now. Basically, yeah, I saw the map and said, hey, that looks like a path. I don't recall doing that. Which, you know, sometimes when I don't recall doing stuff, I've already done it. This time it's new, unique, stuff that I haven't seen before. Getting stuck on a tree. The good thing about this is I play the role as the audience. So when I see myself doing something, I can be like, wow, what is this idiot doing? Like being assaulted by bats. I think I just looked at the situation and said, you know what? Probably should still go for a long-ranged weapon. Not long-ranged as in like a ranged weapon. More, well, not long-ranged at all, really. More like just a long reach. That's it. That's the phrasing. See, even off-the-cuff recording of just audio, my brain still don't work too good. But found this little hidden like underpath, which I'm like, oh, this is gonna be sick. This is gonna be really cool, and it is kind of cool. Look at that. Look how cool. There's an item there. Might be something spooky in here. Nothing spooky, but there is that, which would have helped a lot for the R'hllana fight. I don't know if I would have equipped it really, but you know, the big magic resist would have been nice. I doubt it would have helped for like the fire damage. Also, you can see me trying to read a bunch of stuff, so that's going to be cool. I think I'm just trying to assess how much the actual damage would have been altered, but the answer is not a lot. And also, I think I get very confused about like why it looks like it's like less damage, but it's because I have the physical damage resistant on. So, you know, it takes me a minute to think of things. You can imagine, not really fun for me to watch myself do menu stuff, so I can't imagine it's fun for you guys. So I apologize for that. It doesn't help when I don't remember what exactly I was trying to think or parse out through menus, you know? So you just gotta kind of work with it, figure it out. Look at these guys. They seem like the perfect enemies to backstab stuff. I like that it's called Blind Spot, actually. It's a cool name. And like I said, iframes are cool. I'm not doing a great job at using those iframes, but it seems like a pretty cool skill. I think it can only be equipped to these backhanded blades, which is, I feel kind of tragic almost. Like, imagine just how effective they could be on, like, anything else that you could, like, two-hand. I guess two-hand isn't really part of it. You don't really need the two-hand for it, do you? But I'm sure it's fine. I'm just looking around because I don't recognize things, trying to figure out where I am, what I'm looking at. I'm like, oh yeah, that's where I got oddly ganked by 2 guys and couldn't handle it when we first started at the castle. And I'm gonna spoil this, I don't think there was anything cool behind this waterfall. Which is fine, because we already got our cool behind the waterfall moment. Every waterfall can't be special. You know, Syndrome's thing. If every waterfall's special, then no waterfall's special. That's what he said in that film, right? About waterfalls, specifically. He had a secret behind a waterfall. A secret behind a lava waterfall too. I was like, that's pretty cool. I wish I could be that cool. That was absolutely like the coolest thing to me was the lava fall wall. That was like wall door too. It was really cool. Hey, The Incredibles, cool film. If you haven't seen the hit film Incredibles, you should check it out and not watch me getting bodied by a couple of guys. This didn't happen. It never happened. I thought they were still stomping at me. This was a good, like, humbling moment for when I finally beat Rilana, despite, you know, using kind of cheese strategies. Let's talk about that, because that was one thing I forgot. This recording is when that patch came out that made the skidoo trees give you more defenses. Like, it raises your stats quicker with the first couple levels. I think it evens out to the same from what I read. But also apparently skidoo means shadow, or is pronounced shadow. I'm really not sure. I'm also getting bodied again. I'm still gonna call them skidoo trees because skidoo's a fun thing to say. But so there was a funny little post by some like game journalist article about the patch that said like this basically proves that game journalists are better at Elden Rings than regular players. I'm really getting bodied here. So honestly, they might be right about that. Which kind of funny, kind of a funny post, but I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate here because I'm salty, apparently, because I feel the need to be salty about it. If I'm not mistaken, I think the reviewers that got early access codes were given like roadmaps by FromSoft to like have an easier experience with the game. I don't imagine that they would have given them like a full list of all of the skidoo tree fragment locations. I also saw someone mention that I think without fighting any boss, you can get up to level 10 on skidoo trees. But, you know, with a roadmap to skidoo trees, I do think you would have a bit of an easier time. What was I? Was at like level 5 when fighting Rilana? Which, I'm not going to say that that would have been a deciding factor. But, you know, any defense boost might have been a little helpful. Although, I did basically end up winning the fight without using the defense talismans or better armor, so probably wouldn't have mattered much. What was the topic again? Right, so let me think about that for a minute. Think about that topic. So, you know, difficulty in this game, not using spirit ashes, and cheesing. And you. So, I'm of the opinion that you can use whatever you want as long as it's not, like, actively breaking the game. Like, if, you know, if you're using, like, the cheese strategy to beat the Demon of Hatred in Sekiro, it's cool that you can do that, but it's less of you winning the fight, I would say. But, like, with this game, if you use Spirit Ashes, I'm not going to hold it against you. It's just me personally, I don't feel satisfied by winning with Spirit Ashes, and I've said it before, mainly because of the way it draws aggro from the boss, which makes the boss significantly easier to deal with, because the aggro is part of the challenge. So that's kind of why I felt ick about it when I used Dean for the Divine Lion Dancer fight. I forgot his full name. I apologize. And then that's why I was kind of trying to avoid it at all with Rolana. And like you've seen it when I used the Leda, was that her name? Summon. It I was barely trying. We were kind of able to whittle her Rolana down pretty quickly because of that. So I wasn't really feeling that, and I'm glad I died so I could try fighting again. Now, obviously, my strategy that ended up winning the fight was kind of cheesy or considered overpowered. I don't know if it was actually nerfed. I think I remember hearing something about how power stancing was nerfed, but I don't know to what extent. Obviously, it worked well enough for what I needed to do. But, you know, I know that power stance jump attacks are great for breaking stances. So, I guess you could say that was a cheese strategy. Then again, I did beat the original Elden Ring with Blasphemous Blade 2. I don't think I used Blasphemous Blade very well when I played first Elden Ring. When I played the base Elden Ring. But, you know, I don't feel too bad about those strategies. And also I tried using Bloodhound Step on Rolana as well, and it kind of worked, but also kind of wasn't feeling it. Mixing up strategies, trying to figure stuff out, that was fun, and it felt satisfying to me. So, like, again, just going back to Spirit Ashes, because that's a hot topic of playing the game right. I think someone was kind of lambasted online for using Blasphemous Blades for, like, something I don't remember what. I just saw something about it. And I would just say, it doesn't matter what other people think that you do. As long as you feel satisfied with your victory, that's all that really matters. If you think that, like, Spirit Ashes don't make the fight too easy, then fine, that's good, that's cool. I just think, like, I guess also you can have fun with having things be too easy. I did kind of face tank a lot of enemies with the Beast Claws, because that's really fun to me. But, you know, other people's opinions don't really matter with that. Because I think part of the discourse really comes down to, as well, that there's, like, people on both sides kind of being obnoxious about it. You have people saying you didn't win that fight because you used the cheese strategies, Blasphemous Blade, Spirit Ashes, summons. You have people saying, well, it was in the game was designed to work this way, which is accurate to an extent. I think Miyazaki did come out and kind of say, like, he's not great at hard games, so, like, kind of makes sense that something like Spirit Ashes would be used as a way to kind of mitigate that damage. Check out this bear. He looks kind of spooky, but don't worry, he's a cuddly bear. Look how cuddly. I'm not explaining myself very well, and I think I did talk about this during this whole segment, and I didn't explain it very well then either. But I just felt like it was a decent enough topic to talk about. Anyways, these little militia guys are here. I think I pick up some pants from them. So, obviously, you can get, like, probably their full outfit. I wonder if you can get their weapons from them. At some point, I do need to, grind some enemies. That guy that I fought, the, like, horn... There's the pants! I told you, the pants! It was foretold! That horn guy with the, blades that I fought at the, Beldam Castle dropped pants as well. So he probably drops more like his helmet, which would be pretty cool. I wonder if the discus guy that jumps around a lot, that was at the end before we fought the dancing lion. I wonder if he drops any of his gear, because he looks kind of cool. At some point I might try grinding some enemies for armor. I might also look it up just to make sure that I'm not wasting my time grinding those enemies. But here we are. Basically this whole part's going to be this crazy catacomb. I wish that you could get my full reaction of this, my genuine reaction, because it was a pretty fun catacomb in my opinion. Obviously nothing up there. Obviously too, it still uses the preset like rooms that base Elden Ring had. So thanks Miyazaki for the $40 expansion. Very cool. I'm joking. I'm fine with catacombs being the way they are. But there are new enemies, like this guy doing some Scrooge McDuck bouncing, pogo sticking on his weird weapon. That was what everyone was hoping for, were more gargoyles. You know what I should have actually done? I didn't even think about it. I don't remember if I learned about it in the playthrough I did of Elden Ring, but I did learn about it at some point. Trap ahead. Trap. Where's the trap? There's the trap. That's what I learned about. At some point I learned that these gargoyles, and I think the watchdogs are get like real screwed up by crystal darts. They're like throwing daggers. And look, that guy's not having a good time either. He didn't know about the trap either. Like, I think it makes them wig out. So I really should have tried that just to have fun with it. Because I never actually did use it after I learned about it. So probably a post-game thing that I learned about. So these little guys don't seem too bad, at least at the moment. And you can see the big spikes and some second floor shenanigans here. So I'm really excited about second floor shenanigans. And also afraid of spikes now. And gargoyles, because they can be on walls. And this guy's here too. This guy has like a wacky spell. It looks like it like shoots multiple projectiles out of itself. I wonder if it's something you can get as like a sorcery. I'm gonna assume it's a sorcery spell. But it's like a slow moving rock that then shoots smaller slow moving rocks. But hey, he's not a great fan of electricity, so it worked out. These guys are just all over the place. For some reason I did not jump attack. Don't know what my problem is. I like the way they drag their weird like sword club thing. And as you can see, wing stance is pretty fun. I didn't really explain it because I explained it when I thought I was recording. But it has the heavy attack, which is that jump I did, and then the light attack is like a bunch of quick successive attacks. And of course, a bunch of liars ahead. For some reason, there's Fulgrim Bloom here. Or Fulgur Bloom, sorry. Should have read the thing. I don't really know what that means. What's the lore behind that being down here? I guess with hindsight, I can hazard a guess. So there was a cannon up there, which thankfully the message helped me prepare for. But then, oh no, the cannon walks. I thought it was like a stationary thing when I saw it up there. And I don't know why I'm waiting so long for him to show up, just like, I guess hoping for a jump attack that doesn't come out because cannon guy shoots real quick. And now we can get a better look at him, and he's a weird gargoyle man. I wonder if both of these gargoyles can drop their heads. Because I know the other ones in base Elden Ring were capable of doing that. And of course, traps everywhere. That cannon guy would have been a problem if I didn't know he was in there. Because I would have gone for the item. It would have been like, oh, great item, and then blast it. And obviously there's a little fellow over there too. And I didn't dodge good. Are you shocked that I didn't dodge good? At this point, it's obvious I'm not good at the game. No wonder I had to go for power stance jump attacks. Might as well have summoned Dean. Here I was saying that it doesn't bother me and it shouldn't bother you, but I'm bothered by it. I don't know. I just want to see what I can cook, and most of the time it's pots. Alright, let's read about pants. So I spent that time reading some of the items I got. I'll read them again later. Right now we'll just skip over it. Move on a little quicker. Read about the warrior greaves again, apparently. Don't know why I was looking at that. But yeah, there's a couple of bigger items I do read later too. That I'll read after the post-recording that I am doing currently. Kind of had to fly by the seat of my pants here. I'm just grateful that I was able to at least get the recording off of PlayStation. Also, this guy fires very fast. As you can see, I'm getting bodied. I don't know why they say octopus, but this guy says head ahead, which is a pretty funny message. Because if you notice, these little fireball guys, they kind of got like a little bit of a birdo mouth. And you know what people want to do with that birdo mouth. Yeah, you know. But I decided to like the octopus message instead. Because I'm different. I don't know, I know like Japan culture, there's something about like octopuses and pots. I don't know, maybe it was like a Japanese message related to that in some fashion. Unclear. I probably shouldn't try to like hazard a guess as to what culture does. Or else I'll be like I've already mentioned it before, but I'll be like those Japanese players that question why all these messages are talking about a fort at night. Do you have to wait till nighttime to see the fort? It's so confusing. I think it's really funny though. That's why I gotta bring it up twice, because it was really funny. So like those even ricochet too. Like that seems like a fun little spell. There's also a really fun little point where he uses that spell. Spoilers, get excited for it. I can't imagine like for PvP it would be great. Probably not even great for PvE. Just, you know, me being a dumb player, I get assaulted by it very easily. Wonder if there's any secrets over here. No secrets. So then I think I find a bunch of liar head messages as per usual. But I believe this is up above where the first sorcerer that was shooting those projectiles out was. I like sniped from that corner, I believe. And look, I even did a little circling of like, aha, I figured it out. I was very proud of myself for that one. What an idiot I am. And we can find the spooky room. It's really not spooky. Just soldiers hanging out. More vulgar blooms, too. So then I play smart. And bait out one of them. Or at least plan to bait out one of them and then realize that Lightning Bolt is pretty yoked. Pretty strong. Powerful spell. incantation, not a spell. But it's pretty cool. And I beef up a little bit for this guy because I'm a little scared. Kind of getting deep in this dungeon. I beef up way too much for this guy, and you'll see why. Because lightning bolt is pretty beef. I don't know why wing stance there. Look how lightning bolt does. I don't even think like most of my buffs would have affected that in any way. Because like Flame Grant Me Strength just boosts my physical damage, I believe. But hey, I got some gloves. Pretty cool. And there's a fella, little sneaky fella. Man, this dungeon has a lot of sneaky fellas. And then I'm ready to roll up on him. I really like the holding wing stance too. And glove wart. Very exciting. I think I get confused. I'm like, I don't know if this is new or special, and then I see that I have like 3 of them. So, not really that big of a deal, but hey, we beat that guy real good. And if you notice there, I did notice it. I think I just wanted to see if there was anything else in this room. But it looked like there was a little way to get onto that spike platform. And, you know, I saw those messages on those walls. I knew they were going to be fake, but I wanted to double check just in case. And I goof. I think I goof a lot here, actually. To the point where I fear for my life like that. Almost walked right into it. It's okay though, I had my wondrous physic on to protect me. So I'm having a good time. But yeah, beefed up a little too much for that one guy. I think that message made me think that maybe there was something on the wall. I think that room I was in before. This dungeon's actually, I wouldn't say confusing, but it is pretty big. And there are enough kind of weird paths that could be confusing. For example, this one led us to Spirit Ash, which isn't very confusing, but I think we end up looping back to somewhere we've been before. Like, I don't think there's really anything like that. That's all that was for. So we, like, looped. Lose that physic. And then, like, gotta figure out where else to go. I don't even remember. Oh, right, this was... Okay, I remember exactly where this looped. And I think I had the same reaction of, like, oh, I know where we are now. This is where those knights were hanging out. You can tell because of all the knight corpses. So, you know, we finished that, but then what? We'll probably go down. There was a spot, I believe, back a little where you could see there was an item on the ground on the spike. I think that's where I'm heading now. Well, like, similar to that one forge we were at, kind of seems like a lot of these dungeons have, like, fake out endings. Because, like, you could kind of look at that and say like, oh, I guess I'm done with this dungeon. But I, you know, I wouldn't have agreed with that. So down there you can see there's an item, so obviously we haven't been there yet. So the question is the best way to go down, and I think I see where the, there would be a safe spot right there where that light is. And I was wrong, but hey, there's at least a door there. And something to the left. Every time I have to check to make sure that both sides don't have something spooky. And I don't know why this guy, like, walked over to that wall. That was very confusing. Like, I don't know if he knew I was here but was trying to reach me by not going the way I was. Like, if his pathing was strange. I don't know. I still have no idea. And I think this is just a way to get back up if you wanted to from the fall. So I believe this is where the first cannon gargoyle was. Where he, like, we first saw him and I thought he was just a normal cannon. So, it's nice that the dungeon at least lets you loop back around a lot. But I don't want to loop, I want to go forward. But don't go forward too quick, because you might forget about the spikes. And I'll get that item, but I fear the spikes. And the exciting thing is, over here, maybe not over here. What was so exciting about over here? The fact that it just goes down more, I guess. That's what's more exciting. There's a stake here. So that means we're not even... Well, spoilers, I guess. I spoiled it. I said it a little too soon there. So the exciting thing for that would have been the fact that that means we're near the end, because that's where the boss should be, right? No, we're like in the halfway point. And the problem with that, it's not really much of a problem, but I would like to finish the dungeon without dying. A problem though is that I am running out of resources. Because I kind of expected this to be a lot shorter. And just gonna wait for him to approach me. And completely whiff. I thought it was just kind of cool to stand on top of like some stairs while doing that ring pose. That time though, that was kind of cool. From the top rope. This guy doesn't have the big weapon. He's got like a little one that flamethrowers. And there's another magic man. Getting sick of all these magic men hanging out, doing magic things. I don't remember if this dungeon had... I think it had to have been this dungeon. This might have been a wacky room over here. Not because of him. Maybe... it has to be this dungeon, because I don't think I've seen these magic men anywhere else yet. I haven't really found many mini dungeons like this. Also, it turns out these guys can, like, spit at me. Very rude. And again, doesn't help with the resource problem because I keep chugging. I think right now I don't realize how much my resources are going to become a problem. And again, I have to just poke every time. It doesn't really matter if you poke because you don't have to worry about weapon durability, so it's fine. There's an up path there, but I can't figure out how to get up, dog. I just try to see if maybe... What if that wall? What if it's that wall? What if you go into a dungeon like this and there's a bunch of messages that just say liar ahead and like try wall everywhere, but where there's actually an illusionary wall, so you never actually try that one? That'd be a fun Miyazaki trick, like fake messages. Now this area becomes a little troublesome, and I think I sit here a little too long. I try to figure out how to like properly come at this because that magic man shoots really far away, and letting all these start to ricochet becomes a big problem because now there's just a lot of projectiles in that room. And the worst part is it's pretty obvious. I think you can see, at least from the very back, that there's a lot of spike walls here. Or ceilings. Like, obviously I wouldn't have trusted this large hallway because it's large and scary. But I take a lot of damage there for no real reason. And surprise, these guys can be on walls. I was really hoping he would get spiked, but instead he decided to pogo around like a little silly goose. So now we just have to zig and zag, which makes those projectiles a little bit less of a problem. And now I realize that I'm running out of health potions, and by running out, I mean I don't have any more, so I start using my bestial vitality, which barely heals me. And I think from this, I realize I probably shouldn't have that on. And oops, there was a hole there. Okay, yeah, this is where I was thinking of. So that was a fun little trick. Bamboozle me into falling into this hole with all these slimes. Which, forgot how tanky they are. But I do remember that they're weak to fire. So I waste more resources on fire. Mainly because I don't want to spend so much time poking them. Also, I keep thinking Catch Flame has more range than it actually does. Part of that is mainly the problem that I don't actually use this spell often enough. You can see, like, Bestial Vitality is barely healing me up. I don't know if it's really worth it, but I do get rid of it eventually. Try to bait these little fellas out. Was kind of hoping for a double whammy, but didn't get it. Presumably that was a ladder up, but we might as well hang out down here because we're here. Like, almost immediately you hear Magic Man doing magic things. He barely even sees me. So I gotta assess the situation, figure out what's going on in this room. There's a Magic Man. There's a bunch of goo up there to trick you into trying to go after Magic Man. Because if you go after Magic Man, the goo's gonna fall on you and you're gonna get gooed. So I decide magic versus incantation. The battle of the ages. I don't remember if I brought it up. I stopped using, for the Rolana fight, I stopped using Blood Flame because I remembered that standing in the water, I think, actually makes fire do less damage. And when I started to try to use Milady, I actually tried to do it with lightning damage in hopes that that would do a lot more damage. I didn't really notice a significant difference, but as you can see there, the water did do kind of a like shock effect. I don't know if that only works with like lightning bolt and not lightning weapons, because I did try to hit Rolana with lightning bolt before, but she dodges. Shocker, right? Shocker because of lightning. Full of jokes. I think I decided also to bail on these guys. Oh, and shocker because of electro charge. I forgot this is where I got that from. I also forget that I have that for a bit here. I might as well mention it now. Because I'm not going to use it. But I did test it. It seems like it's the similar to that one flame spell that Kotsu in Fire, and you do like damage to enemies that are close to you, except you don't damage yourself with electro charge. I wouldn't say it doesn't seem really useful because it doesn't do that much damage, and it doesn't seem like it actually affects enemies too much besides damaging them. Like, it doesn't stun them or like stagger them or anything. I did only test it a little bit, so, you know, if you're curious, I guess look it up. But, this is that spot that I was going to try to go up. So we're back in the big room again. So, again, fun dungeon. Lots of looping around. I keep trying to bait the spikes out. I think I probably could just run to the next safe zone without doing that. But, you know, spikes are scary. I make sure not to fall into a hole this time. guess I decided to wait this out a little bit longer. I guess I was trying to just assess if I wanted to go all the way that way or try to find another path. Because there is a, another cubby on the other end. Right over there. And more spikes, apparently. And so then I zigged back over there. I zig, I zag, I get some glass charge, which is very disappointing. And I see that gargoyle. I'm ready to fight that gargoyle. I know he's there. I wasn't even paying attention. When did I switch to the backhand blade? Also, another gargoyle with more flamethrowers. Now I'm ready to fight the mage man with his cool spell. Also kind of looks like he has like a little dagger. Don't really get them a chance to do anything besides use their spell, so... And I want to get rid of all these enemies, because, you know, don't want them around. Jump attack! Missed the jump attack! Doesn't matter, we're all good. Another guy, though. That, like, zip forward into a stab is very nice. As you can see, it's very good at clearing the distance real quick. So then I'm, like, looking around, waiting for that to go down, and notice that the, there's a little hole there. A little cubby just for me. And try to heal up a little bit more still. Because again, this is a long dungeon. I also have a terrible time getting in that cubby. I think it takes me like 3, 4, 15 tries at least. It's a difficult cubby to get into. Mainly because I can't figure out the timing of the spikes actually falling down. But it'll all be worth it. I assume it'll all be worth it. Third time's the charm? Yeah, it is, baby. Yeah, I'm a bit of a gamer. Okay, nothing spooky here. Not a mimic chest. I'm hoping the DLC has a mimic. Cool Ash of War. I never actually used the Ash of War. There is something similar that I used. It, does what you would expect. You dash forward with electricity. I don't think it has iframes. I don't think it's like a Bloodhound step. But I could just be using it like at poor timing intervals. And over here is something kind of cool that I'll read later, maybe. Or right now. It's kind of cool enough to read right now, so I'll read it. A sword that none can pull from its scabbard of cracked stone. Relic of a lost civilization from a time long past. Said to have served a ritual purpose at altars of light and darkness. Sounds kind of like Kingdom Hearts. Also, the skill is Square Off, Square Enix, and we'll read everything else. Skill used by the Golden Knights who served Godwin. From a low stance, the body is transformed into a bolt of lightning and charges straight ahead at fulgurous speed. One of the incantations of the capital's ancient dragon cult calls down lightning to charge the caster's body. While charged, electric shocks will strike the area several times. Charging increases potency. The origin of incantations that bolster the body with lightning is now a lost art in the lands between. So yeah, I read all that stuff because it seems kind of important. I was wondering if that stone sheath sword has some kind of gimmick behind it, because I noticed that it's a somber weapon. You can't change the Ash of War. I think in one of the Dark Souls there's like a sword and a stone that if you let the durability of it go down to 0, the stone breaks and you actually get the sword out of the stone, which is a pretty fun little gimmick, I think. So I'm kind of wondering if that sword is something similar to that, because otherwise it seems very uninteresting. I also almost die here, but I go sicko mode on those guys. Thankfully I hit both of them at the same time, or else I probably wouldn't have been able to make it. But yeah, the stone sword thing that we picked up, It's a somber weapon. You can't change the Ash of War, not Ass of War. That's something else. But it, I think it had square off, right? So that's like a very basic Ash of War. And then we're back where the glass shard is. So we finally finished that off. And we can move on to this room now. Which, you know, it's basically same old at this point. I'm used to not getting crushed. Actually, I would say good kudos to me. I don't think I got crushed besides the first time. Do I risk it all for that item? Yeah, I do. I gotta get it, and it's not worth it. Imagine dying to that. So then, like, oh boy, down more. And again, my resources are falling apart. Nothing up there. Liar ahead. They actually said beware of the secret. But the good news is, we actually are at the end of the dungeon, and there's a stake, so with little resources, we finally made it. Gonna put this out there, I'm not gonna beat this boss first try, but I don't think I would have anyways, but without anything to really use. Like, obviously that's not gonna work with a boss I'm not familiar with, but I tried to, set it up as much as I can to go in there, and it turns out those things break on fog walls, so that's fun. And immediately this guy starts, like, with that electric energy, which is very cool, and kind of shows off what that electric dash would do. And I can't believe it, I barely did anything to the guy. But don't worry, surely we'll get it done the second try, right? Again, though, just glad I have the stake of Marika. And now I can chug a lot of Crimson Tears and use my Wonder Physic. I can basically be more prepared for this, which hopefully works out for us. Love me the pre-battle ritual. I think I decide that bestial vitality isn't even worth it for, like, in the fight. Also, let's talk about the fact that there's a weird skull in the back over there. Looks kind of like a Godwin, doesn't it? And I use these pillars to my advantage, because otherwise, the guy's gonna come at me real big. He also, his cape's sick and turns into, like, wings there. But, you know, I'm able to use blind spot pretty effectively. And even use it ineffectively. That almost got me, and thankfully I was able to definitely avoid. He also has crazy lightning. This guy's, like, really cool. He's got, like, crazy cool lightning attacks. He's kind of a badass. Mainly, the worst thing I'm doing is using blind spot not to dodge, but just to get an attack in. Blind spot definitely would be more effective if I timed it better. But hey, we were able to do pretty good against them. I do get a little greedy here, thinking that I could kill him in one hit, but I needed two, and that was kind of scary, but we beat him second try, not bad. Got Crimson Medallion for extra health, and we got his cool battle axe. And I think at this point is when I'm like, oh, what's with this skull? What's this doing here? I also forget that his name's Godwin. Can you really blame me for not remembering what everyone's name is? I couldn't remember if he was Godwin, or if he was Godfrey, or if he was Goldfree, or if he was other G-related names in this game. And I think to myself, too, I think at some point I'm like, oh, right. He his like real corpse or whatever was over here, maybe the site of grace has his name. And it kind of does, but not how I wanted it. Prince of Death's phone. I don't remember. I know, like, Vatty probably talked about it at some point, why there's two Godwyn corpses in base Elden Ring. The one that's underneath the Erdtree, and then the one at Stormvale. I don't know why there's three. But that's the dungeon. Next part will be normal recording. Thanks for sticking with me.